Good morning, YouTube. Hannah making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as QDM to BTC. We'll also be looking at the current coin market cap, talking more about the Litecoin halving that is coming up, as well as what's going to be happening short term. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and let's jump right into today's video. So as you guys can see, we're on the current coin market cap. Market cap is 287.2 billion. 24-hour volume is 44.1 billion. Bitcoin dominance is 66.5%. So what I'm noticing right now is we're starting to see slight consolidation. We're starting to see much lower volume, like incredibly low. I haven't really seen 44 billion in quite some time now. And market cap is slowly dipping off. So when I scroll down to the top 10 cryptos, you'll notice practically everything is in red, which isn't unlikely. Litecoin down 4% now in the number 5th spot, which is interesting. Literally neck and neck almost with Bitcoin Cash, only off by about $100 million, which I know sounds like a lot, but in the space fluctuates quite a bit. Bitcoin is down only 0.8% at 10,688, so it was definitely the highest gainer before everything started to consolidate back down. You can see what I mean by that, and I'll talk about that in a second. Everything else, on the other hand, is starting to consolidate. Litecoin kind of following its own path, similar to Binance, and doing something totally, away from what the rest of the market is doing. But for today, it looks like consolidation was definitely needed, or is definitely happening for the rest of the market. And I do want to show you guys what I'm referring to when I look at Bitcoin. So I want to look at Bitcoin first before we jump into Litecoin. I think it's kind of important if we look at this first, mainly because when you look at this right now, we did happen to retest a pretty strong support, and we held on to that quite well. We could see previous resistance there, and then we have support, and we bounced off that quite nicely. We did start to trend higher, and you can see right now we are facing some sort of resistance at previous resistance levels. You can see where this is what I'm talking about. Previously over here we had our double top, and that is where our point of correction happens. You can see right here, this is the first cap, and then this is a second, but you can see the reversal happened right here, which is currently where we've seen numerous attempts to break out happen. So the fact that we have yet to break out there is probably the biggest indicator as to why the market is starting to retrace and consolidate to lower levels. We're really looking for a break in this resistance, and I said that in yesterday's video. Once we can see this resistance being broken, then I ultimately will assume that the next level is going to be 12,800 to $12,800 for Bitcoin, retesting its previous highs. So that's pretty much what we're waiting for right now. There's not much resistance up in this level. It really is just this cap right here, and we're being withheld by this $10,700 resistance. So we really need to see a confirmation in this trend line, and once we can break through here, then I'm anticipating much more volume moving into the market. We have plenty of room on the RSI to move up higher, only at 55. And that should ultimately bring all the other cryptocurrencies up with it. So to show you guys Litecoin and what I'm referring to, so as Bitcoin was trending upwards and hit that cap, Litecoin was also having difficulties right now, and I don't really think I need much explanation. You guys can clearly see what happened is we were trending upwards and we hit a resistance up here at around $100. $100 is a pretty big cap. You can see we've had problems in that region before, and now it's coming back. So the other thing to pay attention to is we have this death cross, and we have our green and red band kind of intertwined here. And it's acting as quite a big resistance. You can see the past couple of days, we've tried to break through here. We spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days previously trying to break through this resistance, and it did not happen. And now it's happening again, where we try to break through this resistance, and once again, it did not happen. So we're having some difficulties breaking through here. We're really waiting for some sort of confirmation. We're most likely going to use this bottom support to help us bounce up. We need to be breaking this resistance here, and once we can see confirmation of a break above this level, then ultimately we should be able to start to trend higher and move higher and go to much higher levels. Ultimately trading back in between its 115 to 126 level and then moving up even higher to its all-time highs. That's really what we're looking for. You can see what exactly I'm referring to. If I just zoom out really quick, you'll notice that there is a bunch of resistance right here. Truthfully, there's a bunch of resistance here that needs to be crossed. And until we do that, we're pretty much going to be trending or trading in between $100 and $88 for quite some time now. I know that is unfortunate and boring for you guys that we haven't really seen much action, much volatility, much volume moving into the market. And I understand. We need to see that movement, and then a lot of people most likely jump back on board. Media and all the hype will start to reoccur once again, because when we had this major trend right here, this major move, the markets were going wild when we shot up from $69 all the way to $140. It was talked about everywhere. Everyone was talking about cryptocurrency, even at work and things like that. So the fact that we're starting to trend off right now, you can notice that the markets are really, really, really intertwined with people's reactions. So when we see short-term retracements, it does, the market gets bored. People get bored and there's less volatility and movement involved. And then when we start to see movement like that, that's when everybody starts going crazy, which makes sense. But the thing that I'm trying to really explain to you guys is it happens over and over and over. This is nothing like new. We've seen this months after months after months within crypto. Ever since I've been trading this since like a freshman in college, the past like 2 years now, I've noticed that we do have these ripples. We do have these retracements downwards, and we do tend to move back up. So for people to see this and get bored, it's great opportunities to buy in, because we ultimately head back up, and we ultimately head higher, and the people who didn't get involved ultimately miss out. So it's a great thing to pay attention to. And these are the markets that, the people that really want to learn, this is the time to do so while the markets are kind of cooling off. Like, understand what can be here, understand patterns that you can see, always draw lines, see if they make sense. So here's there's a possibility of a line right here, you'll notice, with these bottom supports. We'll redraw that tomorrow if we can see this start to trend back up higher off that level. I do just want to move on to Ethereum right now. And what I just drew on Litecoin is similarly what's happening to Ethereum. So you can see we did have this major ascending triangle right here that did break bearish, for those of you who are new, trending down sideways. And now we're starting to find our bottom support right here, just like this. We're starting to head up. And you can see we're ultimately moving up in an ascending triangle, coming closer with our high-low minimum moving averages as well as our resistance up at 230. So we're going to see whether or not we can break bearish from that. Ultimately, ascending triangles usually tend to break bearish, so we may end up breaking bearish and then follow along or fall off down into here, and then start to use this bottom support and uptrend to start to slowly bring prices to higher levels. Let's see what happens with this Litecoin halving. It's coming up very soon. We're not really seeing much movement in any sort of directions in the past couple of days, if not weeks. We did say, Charlie Lee did say when we were at 140 that this was going to be the cap, and he was definitely right on that, because we haven't seen prices near that just yet. Not to say we are not going to go back to that very soon, but there does seem to be a cap on the price right there. Now, I do just want to wrap things up with Qtum for you guys, and then we'll talk in tomorrow's video. But Qtum is very similar to some of the other cryptocurrencies. If I zoom out for you guys, you'll kind of see the pattern that I've noticed, and I want to know if you guys have Qtum. Definitely leave a comment down below. But you'll notice there is a major downtrend on this currency. So you can see where I drew my pattern. Oops, sorry, did not mean to do that. There's a major pattern right here. You can see where I've drawn supports, resistance, resistance. I drew my bottom support right here, which was confirmed by this volume or this price, and by this candle and these candles right here. Well, pretty much there's no bottom. There's no all-time low under that, which did give me reassurance that this is most likely going to be where it's capped out at. This is most likely going to be the bottom. And with that being said, it ultimately lets me understand that we're most likely going to be trading starting out sideways from here. And then there's a good chance we could either break up with small volume to the upside like that, or we're just going to continue to trend outwards, which is definitely a possibility on a coin like this, trending outwards like that. Because it's at an all-time low, we're not really seeing much volume come into Qtum, so it's definitely an interesting coin. It is undervalued. It is very low on its RSI, but there are definitely other cryptocurrencies to be paying attention to. Otherwise, guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Definitely make sure to leave a comment down below as to what cryptocurrency you'd like to see reviewed in tomorrow's video. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Peace.